This is Prolific Audio. I'm here to walk you through the 8500 and 9500 dash install kit for Prolific. Pretty easy install in JK here. Pocket comes out the top of the dash. Just 7mm screw underneath it. If you have power windows, you're going to have power window switches here. If not, you're going to have a pocket. Either way, that has to come out. Take a pry tool, comes undone, depress clip, clip it, comes out. The red clip is engaged, all you gotta do is push it that way before you push the clip in. There's a 7mm straight down in the dash. Take that 7mm out. Somewhere where you know. Now you have the knee bolster here on the steering column. This comes out as well. Comes down, unsnaps, and then rotates on these hinges down here. Unsnaps. You got two 7mm screws on the top of each part of the dash. Take those out. Make sure the steering column's all the way down and to you if you can. Dash pull straight forward. Rotate it sideways, get it out. Now you're going to remove the radio, just 4 7mm screws. Pull the radio, check to see if you have CD in there. You want to take that out before you get it in. Slide it out. Unplug the back of the radio. All right, this is Joe from Prolific Audio. I'm here to walk you through getting the screen ready for the install. It's pretty straightforward. This screen here is actually an 8500. You can tell by the nut here, but the 9500 screen is the same. There's one minor difference between the 8500 and 9500 that we'll explain here in the video. First things first, we gotta take this carrier and move it down to the lower position. So you can take these screws out. You'll see a little shoulder on them. Just stop when you can see the shoulder. You can see the shoulder, you can leave them in. So now we gotta slide this all the way down to the bottom position and then retighten the screws up again. I like to get them all, the shoulders engaged first before I tighten them down. So this should be, I believe, in position 3 on either the 8500 or the 9500, but on this, definitely on the 8500 it's position 3, but it's position closest to the screen of the radio itself. All right, the second thing we need to do is move this carrier up to the top position. So there's 4 screws on the side we gotta take out. All right, so like I said, this is an 8500. For the 8500 to work on our kit, you need to have 2 holes above the slide. So that's the position for the 8500. If it was a 9500, you only have 1 hole above the slide. So this would be for a 9500, and this is for an 8500. So since this is an 8500, we're gonna leave it here. Just put the 4 screws back in. Like I said, get them started first before you crank them down. Once you got them all threaded, go ahead and tighten them up. All right, and that's all we have to do here. All right, so now we need to cut the dash bezel in order to get the radio to fit in here. So as you can see with the unit installed, you just have to stay behind this line here when you cut. The 8500 has to be much further closer to this line than a 9500. 9500 can be closer to the back. I'm still going to show you recommended template and how to cut it with that. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to tape this down, get a roll of tape. Use the corners, line it up with the actual hole. Tape it down so it doesn't move on you. Now we're going to use tape to do our cutting lines. So So as you can see, just bend it down over it. So we're going to do a cutting line there. Cutting line there. And then we're going to bend this down and do a cutting line there. You guys can probably see better than I can because of the angle, but be about right there. And then, like I said, as long as we're not overshooting this body line here, all will be good because the kit will hide all of that. So I'm going to put it right there. Just double check again. You can see it's close. All right, so now we can remove the template. Down. At this point in time, I would tape up as much as is possible so you don't scratch it on accident. That's your cutting device of your choice. Scrolling saw would be what we like to use here. If you're using a scrolling saw, make sure you're using an upcut blade, which means the teeth are jagged that way, not that way. So it pulls plastic up towards the cutter. So just take your time with it, go slow. Pocket knife to clean up the cuts. Since it's plastic, it's going to want to reburn on you. But you really don't have to do any of this if you don't want to. We're just concerned that no plastic is overlapping the top of the tape. So as long as it's smooth there, it should be fine. All this is just cosmetic. It doesn't really do anything for us. You won't see it. You take your tape off. And then we're ready to put it back in the car and install. All right, we're back in the car again. If you're installing an 8500, there's this bar. You have to remove the top of the dash itself. With the bar intact, it looks like this. You can use a knife, just cut it a bunch of times at both sides and wiggle it, it'll snap apart. You don't have to do this for the 8500, the 9500 kit. You don't need to remove this all, you can just leave this intact. If you like to cut the whole bar out, you can. It doesn't matter. Our kit will actually add the strength that we need between these two pieces when you screw the kit into its place. But if you want to cut as little as possible out, that's all you need to cut out there. Moving on, you're going to take your vehicle wiring harness that we included in the kit. You're going to notice these two connectors at the bottom here. Okay. If your car is amplified, we have to change these around. This is how it's going to be shipped to you right here. If the car is amplified, you're going to notice there's only going to be 4 wires here. So see how there's only 4 wires popping on the center of the plug? If there's 8 wires, so 4 more below it, that means you're not amplified. If you only see 4 wires, that means you're amplified. So this car is in fact amplified. It has the Alpine system in it. So if unamplified, you're going to leave it this way. If it's amplified, we have to switch them around. At this point now, you want to connect this to this radio control module. So wherever they plug in, just go ahead and plug them in, black to black, green to green. You're going to take the 4-pin harness, including the kit itself. You're going to plug it in the 4-pin position there. This will plug into the back of the radio along with this harness here. So you can take the control module that we're going to send you. It's going to come pre-assembled looking just like this. We can plug the harness in the back. Right there. We can plug this 4-pin harness right here. And we can also go ahead at this point in time plug in the RCA connectors there. And for the time being, we're going to set this down and run some more cables in the car itself. All right, so we have the GPS antenna. We will not use this here. All we need is this device here. We recommend using alcohol. There's a lovely spot up here on the top of the dash. Just clean it off, make sure there's no dust there. You can use just the tape itself that comes with the GPS antenna itself, the sticky tape. The wire. Next thing would be the microphone. You can install a microphone in several different areas. On a Jeep, there's a lot of noise here, so what we recommend actually on this car is stick it on top of the dash when we're all said and done. It comes with a sticky pad and a mount, so we only don't use this one here. Just take this one off, put that mount on. If you want to, you can also run it on the bottom of the mirror. You can run the wire all the way around. We find that they don't sound much better on the bottom of the mirror. We don't just stick them on top of the dash right there. Because all the wind noise that goes on in these Jeeps, tire noise. So you can go ahead and stick the double stick tape on the bottom. That ready to go. Run the cord the same way. So I leave about that much unplugged and unwrapped. Okay, you can go ahead and zip tie this up and get it out of your way. One of the zip ties included with the kit. Alright, so now we need to run the can wire from the top of the dash to the bottom of the dash. Pretty much just plugs in the OBD2 port, which is down here located by my foot. You can run this cord up into the dash. We've already done it in this vehicle. It's already mounted, just save time on the video here, but just run the wire along and bring it up to the top. That then plugs into your vehicle control harness, which plugs into this black connector here, so black to black. And that's that. And go ahead and plug your two connections in. So this is the GPS. This is the microphone, goes in the red port itself. Set that to the side. This is the antenna cord, the antenna adapter. So this is your terrestrial antenna, your AM, FM. So just plug it in there. This would be for XM. If you want to add XM, we can supply those parts too if you want to add those on as well. As far as your micro USB or USB-C, that's this here. We recommend generally running them in the glove box. I'll leave that extra long for now. Alright, so on this vehicle we actually ran a front and rear camera as well. That's an option. If you want to do that, you can. On your harness that we supply, you'll have a power and ground wire here. This will allow you to hook up a camera feed to it as well. Just red goes to red, black goes to black. Alright, now we're ready to install this module. So first things first, we can plug this in. And plug our antenna in. Oops, antenna in. And our USB-C. Normally we'd be doing this a lot cleaner, just trying to keep the video short and sweet, but you can clean all these wirings up like that. You have these two connectors here, these are for the cameras. So on the Sony it has three, either the 8500 or the 9500 has three camera inputs. I know that this is the rear camera, and camera 1 is the front camera. We always tape our RCAs up so they don't fall apart in the dash. We're all plugged in. Now it's time to get all this back in the dash. There's a 4-pin connector here. Alright, now we're ready to install the radio on the dash like we said. So we're going to go ahead and try to get this module flat against the back like this and down as far as we can. Looks Looks like there's a lot going on here, but there's really not that much more than normal. Just try to get everything within this metal bracket here. Slid to the back. All the wires should be coming up through the middle of the bracket on the back. Try not to pinch any wires. Alright, once you have the module situated in the right place, it pretty much falls into position. Go ahead and screw that in. Put your 7mm back in. Alright, now we're ready to put the dash back on. One thing we really want to watch out is see how this is really close to the clip. Make sure the microphone wire is not going in where the clip is going to get snapped in. Slide it in and over. Alright, we can go and secure all that. 7mm in the hole here, and then 2 at the top of the dash down here. Put our bottom dash piece back on, slides in. Up. Screw for the top dash bracket. Nice thing about our kit is our kit's the only one that retains this, so I add a little more extra security to your radio install. Pocket back in. Alright, now we're ready to install the kit. So here's the kit itself. That should slide in just like that. Okay, there's 4 1/2-inch screws included in the kit itself. They look like this. We're going to install those. The kit is designed with a gap between the mounting plate and here. We're not trying to crank them all the way down. We're just trying to make it snug so the kit fits snugly against the dash. Once again, I like to get them all started first. Once you have it started, you'll feel when they start to snug down and you stop. You do not need to crank them all the way against the kit. Alright, for the next part, it's a little complicated to show in the video because it's really tight quarters. I'd recommend taking the rearview mirror off first. You can do that with the T20. It'll let you get your head up and back there easier. Just loosen the screw, get it off, door slides open, unplug the harness, get it out of your way. These are the 4 mounting points. It's really hard to get the camera in my head in the same hole at the same time to put the screws in. But this is where the actual screws that come with the kit. So you're going to take your screen at that point in time. Make sure it's on the 8500, it can tilt, make sure it's straight. And the 9500 comes static anyways. So slide it on here. Push it straight in, you'll feel it click into position. The bag that's included with the radio, this side will already be open as we use those screws to make the lower mounting kit. So go ahead and open this up. Make sure you don't lose any of these screws. There's only 4, that's all there is. the screws in. You have to get on top of the seats and look straight down. But there's 4 screws, just get them started first. 1. 2. Is then installed. Door on. Pretty much you gotta get the front edge in first. Try to keep my hand out of the way. Keep this easy. Snap it in, and it'll lock forward. And that's all there is to it. Enjoy your radio.